technology. It's everywhere around the world today. Whether it's in your hands, in front of you, in your homes, schools, workplaces, it's everywhere, and it is benefiting many people in many different ways. Some preliminary information before we begin is provided by Gershon Dublin and Joseph A. Paradiso when they state that when computers and sensors make it possible to virtually travel, it may begin to take on new meanings. And these new meanings could be how the advancement of technology is moving at such a fast pace and may benefit and affect many people in the future and how they use it in their day-to-day lives. I, Delcy Martinez, present the question, to what extent does the recent integration of technology such as cell phones and computers affect adults' work productivity from the age of 22 to 52 in America? Some people believe that no matter how much technology is integrated into the workplace, it does not affect work productivity. But there are more consequences rather than benefits, because technology causes too many distractions for employees, whether it be colleagues, social media, computer games, and is not letting them concentrate and focus on their work. Some of the employees do not approve of it and won't use it. For example, older generations of employees think that technology is not beneficial and they do not want to use it because they're not really familiar with the technology itself. And it is also causing health problems for many employees, such as physical and emotional stress on the body. The emergence of technology. The first computer was made between 1833 and 1871 by British mathematician Charles Babbage, showing that the computer has advanced over time and is basically in every workplace today around the world. The first mobile cell phone was made in 1973, and cell phones are seen everywhere today, and employees use them to make phone calls. In 2015, 3.2 billion people utilize the internet. Everybody, mostly today, uses the internet for various reasons. And technology is very inventive and intelligent, and is not coming out for a while. To start off, distractions. Many distractions affect employees, whether it be social media or other reasons, and they cannot focus on their work and perform to full capacity. According to Geraldine Markle, who has a PhD in education and learning productivity, states that interruptions consumed 28% of the average workday, showing that these employees were distracted and it took up most of their time, and they were not performing and producing as much as they could for the company and getting much work done because they were being interrupted so many times. And Stephanie Castellano, who writes and edits for the Association for Talent Development, stated that in a recent survey, 48% of in-office employees said that they were frequently interrupted by other colleagues, showing that some colleagues, they just want to bring in their personal life into the office and have conversations with other employees who are trying to work and get work done. And that is affecting workers who are trying to concentrate on their work because they often have to listen to these other employees and they're not getting much work done because they're being interrupted so many times. Next, coupled with distractions is disapproval of the technology. For example, some employees, older generations, they do not approve of the technology because they feel that it is not a necessity to perform work tasks. Dr. Craig C. Carragher, who is an adjunct associate professor and who has an MS degree in management, stated that a recent integration of technology affected employees because they feared that they were leaving a work environment in which they were comfortable in, like these two people over here. When they felt that they were going to be displaced, they decided to resist the technology, and that affected them because since resisting the technology, it affects how much they do during the workday, and they are not getting much work done. According to Stephen M. Eliza and his colleagues who conducted research to test how age correlated with work productivity, and they concluded that older employees were not exposed to computers in their formal education, showing that older employees in these companies, since they're not very tech savvy and are not familiar on technology, they often have to take lessons on how to type or do tasks on the computer, and it is affecting their work productivity because they are barely in the office doing work performances and work tasks that need to be done. Lastly, health problems for the employees. Technology causes health problems for the employees, whether it be physical and emotional stress on the body or the action of typing. According to Stephanie Snyder-Campbell, who works in the Norman Regional Health System, and her colleague, Ali Soli, they stated that some of the items causing stress for employees are the internet, computers, cell phones, and email, showing that these are day-to-day used items in the workplace, and that when it is used to such an extent, it can have physical harm on the body. And previously mentioned, Dr. Craig C. Carragher, he mentions that change should be presented gradually, or not. It would create bad relations between employers and employees, and it would lead employees to resist the technology, and that would cause physical harm on their body, because doing the action of resisting technology creates many harms and effects on the body. And here are examples of bad relations between employers and employees. On the other hand, some people believe that no matter how much technology is integrated into the workplace, it does not affect work productivity. Because previously mentioned, Stephanie Castellano, she stated that in a recent survey, 36% of in-office employees stated that they were equally productive as in the office, showing that these employees felt that they were working to full capacity and working to their best ability to try and produce as much for the company. Although this may be a valid point, distractions exist everywhere, no matter where you are. In the office, at home, schools, everywhere. And it depends on the employee on how they take these distractions and how it lets them affect them. Some setbacks to my conclusion are that there's no known solid way to stop the distractions, stop the disapproval of the technology, and stop the health problems that these employees are facing. But we can use this information for future references, and we can use it to come up with different ways to help make a better future and come up with different ways to increase productivity all around. A possible solution could be that employers could set certain boundaries on employees and what they do during the day on the computer and on the work phones, and how it may affect their productivity for the company. So go to companies and see how employees are doing in their actual work environment, and see how technology is affecting them, and suggest how they could help come up with different ways to increase productivity all around.
What information did you need, Delcy, before you began your research, and how did that information shape your research?
So I needed basic information on how technology was integrated into the workplace and how it was affecting employees and what they did with it and what certain performance tasks they did on it. And it influenced my research further on, because after that, I got to see how different aspects showed up, on how it further influenced my argument, and how different aspects showed up into my argument from different articles.
How does your conclusion respond to any of the other research or sources you examined?
It responds to other conclusions because it was basically kind of taking the same point as them, as they presented different aspects that these employees faced, and how in the workplace that they were getting very distracted and that they were getting health issues from the technology. And it was basically influencing my conclusion on how all of that was creating a bad work productivity rate for these employees who are in companies.